everybody, and welcome back to our fourth episode of Play Like a Girl. My name is Laura Caruso.
Hi guys, my name is Gianna, and I'm so excited that you're here with us again this week. We have another great guest.
We always do. We say that every time, but we do have another great guest this week. She is a Providence College student, and she is a female boxer.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to announce that this week we have Victoria Dorico on our show.
Hi, Victoria. It's nice to see you finally.
Me too. I'm super excited to be here.
We're super excited to have you on.
Yeah.
Where are you? Are you at your training facility right now?
I am at my Legendary Boxing right now.
Oh my gosh. Were you just working out?
No, I'm going to work out after this, actually.
Oh my goodness.
I live here.
You live there?
Basically, at this point.
How many hours do you think you spend there a day?
Between training and then just like hanging out with the guys, honestly, I'm here probably like 6 hours a day.
Oh my God.
Depends on the day, I guess, but.
Wow, that's a lot. Well, introduce yourself. What are you all about?
Okay, so I'm Vicky. I'm from North Providence, Rhode Island. I went to Providence College right after high school. I went to North Providence High School. I started boxing about a year ago, but I've kind of always been into the martial arts and kickboxing since I was 12. I was a cheerleader before I was a boxer.
Yes.
Don't ever put the two together. And then, yeah, that's what I'm up to now. I'm over here at Legendary Boxing. So. Okay,
so what was the transition? How did you go from cheerleading to boxing?
Seems like a really
yeah. So growing up, my brother was always into like motocross, and I always wanted to be that one girl on the track. There was like one other girl, and I know like my parents always said, no, you can't do it. Like you'll get hurt. And I think it was always because I was a girl. I was like, it's because I'm a girl. And they were like, no, it's not. So I was always searching for that different sport that you didn't see a lot of females in.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, my younger cousin, he's a boy, and he wanted to take up kickboxing. So I was like, oh, I'm so down. Let's do it. And I just kind of fell in love with the sport from there. And he quit, but I stayed into it.
That's awesome.
cool.
Yeah. He quit, and the girl stayed in.
Of course. Yeah, and I was beating up all the little boys in our sparring because I was 12 at the time. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will say I took one kickboxing class once. It was really difficult.
It's intense.
I had a really good time. Like, it was a really good workout, but I mean, it really was tough.
It is an intense workout. I would teach kickboxing. Everyone's like, you're insane. Like, you're killing us.
Oh my gosh.
My friend Angela actually became a kickboxing instructor, so she's really into it now.
Oh, that's awesome. What gym does she teach?
I'm actually from New York, so I don't think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So she teaches, I'm not even sure of the name of the gym. It's just somewhere near our skating rink because people work there. But she became an instructor 2 years ago, and she goes every day. She's obsessed with it now.
Yeah.
What I like about it, too, is you're working out, but you're also learning self-defense, which is so important. So we did some programs here at Legendary Boxing over this summer. So I led like a fitness women and males came to class for fitness and like adults. And then we did children. So that was more like self-defense and boxing.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I was super excited. The kids were awesome.
That's super cool. Really quickly, I actually did want to point out, Gianna and I both did want to point out, you said she was from New York, so it reminded me, but you have two URI girls here, and you're a PC girl.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know.
We're kind of rivals. We shouldn't even
be our rivals. We should not be on this podcast together.
No, not at all. No, I'm totally joking. I'm actually happy really you joined us. But that's so funny.
I go to URI actually, so it's okay.
Yeah, I know. I have plenty of friends that go to PC. I'm from Rhode Island, so half of my graduating class went to URI or PC.
Exactly.
I PC and soccer before, and your campus is really pretty. So I actually.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. Our gym is so pretty. I mean, with COVID, like they have all the restrictions, so I haven't been in there. But I remember going in the gym and I was like, I love this place. They're like, did you just come here for the gym?
We actually wanted to ask, how has training been with COVID?
Yeah, like what has changed with your like day-to-day?
Yeah. So it's definitely changed in the sense of we can't have as many people in here, but we never stopped. Like we would go through like the back door, just like 2 of us at a time, and we kept that flow going so we wouldn't like completely lose it. And if anything, I think I've gotten like better since COVID because I had time to like really tap into the mind game.
Yeah.
Like when you're training for a fight, you're like, how long can I go in the ring? How long can I last? So you're doing all of those exercises to train that way. And now I'm kind of tapping into that mental game and the philosophy of boxing, like less of it's just a fight and more of it's like, let's think and let's like win with our mind. So
you definitely have more time to like learn about the sport.
Definitely. Yeah. And now we're getting more sparring than ever with some of the best people around. So it's just going to help me grow in that sense. So that way, when I do get to fight, because everything's closed right now, there won't be fights until I'm not even sure when. Like I'll be prepared for that moment a little bit more, I think.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I feel like during COVID, everybody had time to like learn something new and to really spend time doing something that you were passionate about because you literally had nothing to do. Like you were stuck at home, so you might as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or like
we learned how to jump rope during COVID. I was like doing tricks on it. I was like, I can dance through the rope now. I was like, okay. My dad's like, that's
sick. That's sick. Okay, yeah, we're kind of all the same age. I feel like we all immediately just thought of jump in because I did.
Yeah,
jump in when they're jump roping. I'm sorry.
I never thought I could do it. I showed up to a gym once, and all the guys they're like jumping rope, and I was 17. And I'm like, I should be the one that knows how to do this. So I had to teach myself, man, and I'm pretty good at it. So
that's awesome. I was gonna say some people during quarantine picked up a hobby, but some people use it to like practice their craft and like get really good at it. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, that's more what I did.
That's
we were
awesome.
still in here and everything, so it still worked out.
That's super cool.
It's really cool.
So, Gianna, go ahead.
Back to jumping rope, like really quickly. My friend Taylor like started a whole fitness journey thing during COVID, and these jump rope people mailed her a jump rope and like an entire kit, so she could record herself doing their workouts and post it on her social media, and it was just so cool. Like you can.
It's such a good workout. Like I would put people through because I do some personal training here at Legendary Boxing too, and I put people through the rope, and they do 3 rounds, and like I'm already done. Like my workout's done. I was like, that's the warm up.
I underestimate a jump rope. I swear to God.
I did too at first. My calves were on fire, but then you just have to do it like anything.
Oh yeah, of course. That's awesome. I was just thinking about what kind of. When you got into college, was that when you started to box? And like, what was the reaction that you had from people? Being a female boxer, you know what I'm saying? And kind of jumping into it rather than like, you were a cheerleader at first, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So I started, like I said, early, but it wasn't for fighting. It was more like fitness. And so I think I really started kickboxing, fighting when I was 17. And I met a trainer named Charlie Sampaulis. And he just passed away a year ago, so he was starting to he was starting to get kind of sick. So I was driving by this gym that was only 2 minutes from my house, and my mom was like, I really think you should go check it out, because she definitely saw the change in my attitude going from training every day in kickboxing to only going to the gym. Like this is like my happy place, like that one place you go and all those like negative emotions or anything negative in your life. So she definitely saw that change in my attitude. She's like, I really think you should check it out. So I walk in one day, they're still painting the building. Jared's out back, which is my trainer now. He's on a ladder and he just looks down at me and he's like, do you want to learn self-defense? I was like, no, I want to learn how to fight. So that was only a year ago from today. So I was in college at the time when I started boxing versus kickboxing.
Oh, okay.
Which is definitely completely different. Like it's like almost like a completely different sport, I've learned. And, the reaction, a lot of people didn't know I was into kickboxing because like I said, it wasn't at that level yet. So when I came out as a boxer, I mean, there was definitely some doubt because of the way I look or because I am a female in general.
Yeah.
My friends think it's awesome. They're always, we'll like go out and they'll be like, "This is the boxer." Yeah, I have a name. Thanks.
Well, honestly, I think it's like really awesome. Like you don't look like you are a boxer at all, which is so funny because if you do go out and someone like kind of underestimates you, you can be like, "I'm a boxer."
Yeah.
They don't realize it's all
to punch.
Like kind of going off of that, what do you think it means to you to be like a boxer? What does it mean for you to be a fighter?
Okay. So I would say just in general, it means to kind of be like the best at something, the best at like a craft, especially now that I'm tapping into that philosophy of boxing. When I get in there, I just kind of want to be the best at that. But like more importantly, it's so much more than that. Like my first kickboxing fight that I won, I was the only girl on the card. And this little girl came up to me and she was with her dad. And he's like, "She really wants to take a picture with you. She thinks you're so cool." And I was just like, in that moment, like boxing became less about me and what I want to do and more about how can I influence and how can I be inspirational to other little girls that are growing up in a society that tells them they can't do that sport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really rewarding for you.
It was, that moment was so different for me, and like that's why I love to work with like kids when it comes to being in the gym and everything. I actually personal trained my little cousin. She's not so little; she's like 16. I consider that little because she's
that's so young.
And, I would see like how much she feels like empowered by the sport, even at like a basic level, and it's just really cool to watch. So,
I mean, I feel like it still is. Kind of sucks that there are young girls that get the impression that they still can't play any sport that they want. You know, that just comes down to it is that they don't have enough exposure of females playing an array of sports.
Exactly.
There's like holding back, you know.
Yeah, we live in a society that automatically puts males a little bit higher than females. So I think that's what I love the most about that sport is I can show them like, hey, if I can do this sport, so can you. Or you can pursue whatever dream you want to do. So
yeah, that's very true. That's another part of the sport too.
Right, absolutely. I'm the only female in my actually no, we have more females now, we're working on it. But at first I was the only female in this gym, so
that's kind of fun though.
We're working on a girl tribe now.
Oh good. We need it.
Yeah, definitely.
On that note, on a girl tribe, we're gonna go on a quick commercial, but we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to our 4th episode of Play Like a Girl. I'm Laura Crusoe. We have, wrong side. I always do that. I'm
Brianna, and with us we have Victoria.
Hi, guys.
We were having a really good chat before, if you weren't tuned in. But so I have another question about your journey so far in boxing. When you step into the ring, like what's going on in your head? Like how do you calm yourself down? Do you have any nerves like when you step in?
Or do you have a fun walkout song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that do they do that?
So when I would fight in kickboxing, you always got a song, but for some reason they never played the song that I asked for. So I was just like, whatever, like I'm in the zone right now. Like, I guess it doesn't matter. And then when I did Rough and Rowdy, we had a song too. We had the legendary song, super awesome, always gets us pumped up. And they played no music. So we were coming out like an old school boxing movie, but it's okay. So back to your first question though, I think when I'm in the ring, like initially, like before, like I said, I tapped into that philosophy of fighting. I was always like, how can I get to the end of the bell without dying or without running out of breath? Like I just want this, I don't want it to be over because I've worked so hard for it, but I want to get through it. And now it's how can I use my mind to outsmart the next person? Like, so now all of that's going through my head, and I have to kind of calm my nerves and work on my breathing. So I'm thinking more than just like pushing through it.
Yeah.
So
That's like really
yeah.
cool. I wasn't a boxer, but I was a competitive figure skater. So like we always had these competitions where like you would step on the ice and you'd be in a huge arena and everybody was there, and I'd be like, okay, how can I calm myself down? Like I have jitters, like I'm so nervous, and it was just like, it's good to know that you have like a support system behind you, and you have
Definitely, yeah.
and it's I mean, I don't know. It's really thrilling, you know, when you have an audience there. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's almost like when it comes to I'm sorry, you can
No,
go.
you go ahead. You obviously go ahead.
So when it comes to boxing, I think it's almost like you have to tone it all out. So like you're happy that people are there to support you, but you have to act like it's just you and that other person in the ring. Because when you start getting, because then people are screaming sometimes like not the nicest things. So, like if you're not in their home too, so you kind of have to tone that out completely, and it's just you and that person in the ring. So that's definitely one of the hardest parts I find actually is toning it all out, because if you look up now, you're completely in a different zone. Like
Totally.
you're worried about this person's watching me rather than like I have a fight to like win.
Yeah, there's someone in my face.
Yeah, exactly. They're punching me. They want me to go down.
I was gonna say, I think in every sport, there's kind of that time where it's like, all right, tap in. Like this is now just like me, myself, my talent, and like my opponent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And with you, your sport, it's so spotlight. Like it's just you two, fully 360 around. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. It's overwhelming, I feel like.
Yeah, people would ask me after my fights, they're like, so like, how was it? And I'm like, I don't remember. I don't even think I remember.
Do you have a little team in like a corner for you?
Oh yeah, my team's the best. So like the other day we went sparring at another gym in Massachusetts. This is so funny. And I think it was the first time I sparred since before COVID, and like so it's been like 2-3 months, maybe even longer. And we go to Massachusetts, and for the first time, like I said, I tapped into that mental game. I'm using my footwork, like I'm slipping, doing things I've never done before.
Yeah.
And I have my coach Jared in the background. He's like, "Get her! Yes!" He's like screaming, like he's like my cheerleader in the corner. And he's like, "I'm so sorry," because we're in their gym. And he's like, "I'm so sorry, but I'm so proud of her."
Yes.
I have like this super solid like teammate. His name's Mikey, and he's in the corner. He's like, I don't know if you're allowed to swear on this. He's like, "Oh shit, you're getting her. You're kicking her butt." Like he's just like screaming and supporting me. And it's like that to me is so motivating when like your coach is proud of you, because that's all you want to do. I'm spending all that time. It's like when you make your like dad and your mom proud. It's that same feeling.
Yeah, it's like you put in all that work and it's like finally paying off.
Yeah, and they want to see you do it just as well as you want to do. So
yeah, exactly.
It's just super special. Yeah.
You're like your biggest support system, no matter how hard your coach is on you. Like in the end, they are gonna watch you with like such pride and such like they just want you to do amazing because they spend all the time with you. Yeah, you give them all your time, and it's like you want to do good for them, but
you're almost fighting for them in a sense too, because they just dedicated so much time, and like especially in this sport, it's like you're not as a trainer, you're not getting paid for those extra hours, and like also that life coach, like I get phone calls when it's fight seasons, like what are you up to? Like make sure you're doing the right things. Like he's way more than just a trainer, he's like a dad and a family member too. So it's like you really want to make them proud in that moment.
It's also while they're like checking in and making sure that you're like doing well, that's also because they're like holding you accountable. And like that's exactly you know what it should be, kind of, if you want to succeed and continue to like get better, you know.
And it's so much more than just like holding pads for your student at that point.
Worse.
It is like you said, it's like when you spend so much time with somebody, it's like they become a part of your family. Like you said, he's almost like a dad, like role model. Like
everyone in this gym is like a big family. It's so nice. Yeah,
that's awesome. I've heard that it's like the vibe in gyms is everyone's so connected.
Oh yeah, especially boxing gyms, because you are spending so many hours and you just like you almost know way too much about each other. Like it's so sweet though. Like we all just care so much about like us succeeding not only in the gym but as like growing as a person. So
have you ever had a like bad fight or kind of like one you don't think you were prepared for?
Yeah, like what was the most
for it. Yeah, so I would say like since I've been at this gym, I haven't really experienced that because he is really taking me to a new level with the training. And I did lose my last fight, but I wouldn't say that was like my like most unprepared one. I think going into it fighting, like I did unsanctioned fights, so going into it, I just wanted to fight so bad. I was like, I'll fight anyone, I'll do any fight. I want to get in the ring and feel tough. So I was doing them, and I wasn't getting beat up, but I couldn't breathe because I wasn't. When you're training for boxing, it's next level training. You need to really be able to breathe and really last those rounds. That's the one thing I couldn't do. I could punch, but I was like, wow, like I can't breathe. It's only been 2 minutes.
So. Were you ever seriously injured? Or like, have you ever had a really bad injury yet? Not yet. I don't want you to have one, but
knock on wood.
Literally knock on wood.
I've just gotten black eyes, actually. That's about it. No, it's never been bad. I wake up sore, but
so
not bad.
So
everyone's always like, are you afraid to fight? Like, are you afraid you're gonna get hurt? But I definitely, that's like the last thing I'm thinking about. I think we're lagging.
Yeah, I think we're
a little bit. That's
So can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Gianna. I can hear you.
So have you been on Barstool Sports before?
Besides Rough and Rowdy?
Yeah.
No, that was my first experience with that, actually. The promoter of Rough and Rowdy came down here one day, and they were like, oh, we have this opportunity. Like, if you want to do it, just make an audition tape. And I didn't really understand what it was. I had heard it was like backyard brawling. So I'm expecting like this really small local show that would give me experience to fight in the amateurs. Like, I was hoping that it would be like a practice almost, and it ended up being one of the biggest fights I will probably be in as an amateur. Like, no headgear, in front of like so many people on pay-per-view. I had no idea. It ended up being the main event of that, and I was just like, this is supposed to be practice. Like, this is not what I expected. But it was such like a good experience, and it showed me like what it would like to be on that next level.
Yeah. I have one more kind of like lengthy question before we end this, but what is your plan? Do you plan to go pro, and kind of like what is the steps you have to take for that?
Yeah. So I definitely would like to become pro and maybe become like a world champion in the future. But I think I'm gonna prove everyone wrong that like just because I look a certain way that I'm capable of doing this sport. I mean, I'm going to suffer some losses. I'm going to suffer some wins. And I already know what it feels like to do both. But in the amateurs, like, that's your growing point. Like, you're supposed to win. You're supposed to lose. And it's only going to make you better. So I have those moments where I'm like, wow, like, maybe I'm not good enough to be in this sport. Like, I've lost. Like, is that normal? And I always think back, like, some of the best fighters, they've lost and then gone on to be world champions. I do the same, you know.
Yeah.
So I really would love to go pro and be a world champion one day.
That's awesome. That was like the most perfect answer I ever wanted. I have one more silly question now, and then Gianna can, of course, ask her last question. But do you wear cornrows when you fight?
Oh, of course. I love the cornrows. Always embrace the cornrows.
Is there a reason that females wear cornrows? Is it just easier with the hair?
So my hair, especially like in a ponytail, I have all these baby hairs.
Yeah.
So I do the cornrows because it really sticks it back. And those braids are so tight that they're not going to move. And they're down, especially now they have shorter hair. Like, they don't whip you at all. Yeah. So that's why I do that. It makes it easier.
I just always picture a female boxer with cornrows. So I didn't know if it was like.
You just almost need it, you know?
Was it function or was it fashion? I needed to know.
A little bit of both, honestly. But it so bad, like when a fight's on, like, please get these out of my hair. They're so tight, like the gel is sticking to your head. It's crazy.
I believe it.
I feel like your hair looks crazy after you take that out.
Oh, it's insane because like, you would think it creates like these nice waves, but no, you have like Vaseline in your hair, you have hairspray. It's so bad. It's not a cute
look. So my last question I ask every single guest that we have on our show, it's the last one. I want to know, obviously, you know that our podcast is called Play Like a Girl. What is the importance? What do you think it means to play like a girl? And why do you think it's so important that the younger generation understands it?
Yeah, so I think that would kind of go back to like my answer before on how like I do the sport because I want little girls to know that they can do the same thing, or whether their dream be anything, whether it's even being like, we have a female firefighter that comes and works out here, and
Wow.
she's like, she puts all of her kids in all like male dominant sports. And I think that's so important because we should be able to have the same choices that males have. Just because we're a female doesn't make us any less strong or any less capable. So that's why I do it.
Yeah. No, you're completely right. Females should have many options as males do. And you're literally the perfect like example of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm all about it.
Well, we want to thank you so much for being our fourth guest. And it was
awesome meeting you. Good meeting you guys.
Well, okay, you're also going to practice. Good luck with that.
It's going to be a late night.
Thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Wow.
She's nice.
She was really nice.
I wanna get into a ring and fight. Not her. I honestly don't want to fight her. She seems like she has it down.
The entire time we were talking, it was just like the Rocky soundtrack was going on in my head. It was like dun, 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 dun.
That's awesome. Did we want her? That should have been her answer for like when you asked what gets you in the zone. Her Rocky Balboa.
I was like, do you ever practice that song? Because that would have been amazing.
That's hilarious.
I was a boxer, I would constantly play that every day.
I know, seriously. I mean, cornrows are awesome. I really was so interested in the cornrows because one, every girl who does a Halloween costume at any university, they do a boxer, cornrows with it. True. And I literally do feel like when I watch a female boxing, they're wearing cornrows. And that's why I was like, it has to be function.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy she answered that part.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning into episode 4. Make sure to tune in next Monday for episode 5 at 8 p.m. We have another exciting guest.
As always. As always, you know, our podcast is called Play Like a Girl.
For the girls.
Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.